And joining me now, Dave Rubin. He's host of the Rubin Report. Dave, welcome back to the show. Your thoughts on what we just saw.
Lordy, Megyn. I don't know that I can do it much better than you did it just now, as I heard the last 10 minutes or so. But the only thing that this was about was Joe Biden's mental acuity or lack thereof. There's nothing else that we need to talk about, actually. We can talk about the lies and the confusion and all of that stuff, you know, the political part of it. But the simple truth was everyone that watched that debate in America was doing the exact same thing, going, holy cow, when is it going to break down? How's he going to break down? How is Jake Tapper or the mics being cut or whatever else going to run cover for him? And we saw them do it a multitude of times. That first moment that was in the first 10 minutes where he really started breaking down and mumbling, that could have ended it all right there, but Tapper saved him. And then, of course, just virtually everything he said was either the reverse of the truth or a confusion or a projection or it just did not make sense, which Trump made a point of. So I can sit here and tell you some nice things about Trump. I thought he was controlled and measured for the most part. I thought he was on message and was, you know, particularly good at hitting things on immigration and drugs and stuff like that. But I think that the system just got the signal tonight. Joe Biden is toast. And, you know, you mentioned two pillars of this sort of, that there's Joe Biden's unfit ability to be president, which that has been obvious to everyone. The more interesting one is the second part that you talked about, the media part, and that Joe Scarborough clip that you played. We've played that on my show many times as well. And it's like, you're right, he wants to be close to power, but I would say there's something even slightly more nefarious than that, which is that these people in effect, are paid to lie. Joe Scarborough has that job with his wife sitting next to him because they are paid to push that propaganda. Joy Reid, who apparently now post-debate is calling Obama people and they're like all freaking out right now, she is paid to lie. Now, she's not paid to lie to necessarily suck up to Biden that much because she's more on the progressive side, but she's paid to lie when it pertains to wokeness and DEI and CRT and the rest of it. So when you start understanding that, and I know you understand it as someone that came from cable news, then the rest of the picture becomes very clear. But I don't see how anyone in their right mind could have watched that debate. Even if you hate Trump and you have Trump derangement syndrome and you think all the January 6th stuff is legit and everything else, I do not know how one person in America could have watched that debate and thought Joe Biden is fit to be president. That is the only thing that matters right now.
No, so I'm looking for the people saying, no, you know what, you're being too hard on him. I'm not seeing it. In fact, I'm seeing some very different reactions I'm going to play for you in 1 second. First of all, let me show you this video. Here is video of Jill Biden guiding the commander-in-chief off of the stage. There she is up there, just like we've seen everywhere. She's got to go get him. Shame on her. Look at her.
Shame
She's
on her.
helping him down the steps. Yeah, shame on her, Dave Rubin. Shame on her.
Let's not forget, Megyn, that Whoopi Goldberg thought that Dr. Jill Biden should be Surgeon General. Remember that one? She's not that type of doctor.
If only she really did have medical abilities.
Right. Look, all of it. Doesn't it feel like the system just finished him tonight? Like this was the last chance that maybe he could be drugged up enough to go ahead. I would say, you know, the biggest loser tonight may not be Joe Biden, because I don't know that he even wants this. Who knows what's really going on in the recesses of his mind? The biggest loser of this might be Barack Obama, because it's fairly obvious that this has been Obama's third term, that Obama people are running the show here. Everyone knows Joe Biden. Yes, it might say his name on the desk in the Oval Office, but he has not been the president. The decisions are not being made by him. I don't even think he's privy to half of the decisions. He's signing things probably that he has no idea what he's signing. I would say that Obama got his third term, as Obama said years ago. Remember, if I could just not be the president, but have the mic in somebody's ear and all that. And Obama now probably has to escalate whatever the plan is to replace Biden. So, you know, Gavin Newsom showed up there, the devil incarnate. He was on location over there at the debate tonight. We will see what they do. I heard your previous guest mention a couple other people. Now Gretchen Whitmer keeps being talked about, but they have a very thin bench and they have a very fractured party. And that's why, you know, that I've been very focused on trying to take sort of moderate Democrats and people that have woken up to the lunacy of the left and encourage Trump to create the widest tent ever. And I think there's an opportunity for that, which again, we don't even really have to talk about Trump here, but that's why I was really impressed with him. He let Biden kind of break down. He did not go too crazy.
He controlled his facial expressions.
Yeah.
The golf thing was amazing. But wait, let me get to some of the reaction that's pouring in right now, because it's pretty extraordinary what we're hearing. You mentioned Obama. David Plouffe helped get Barack Obama elected. And here he is on MSNBC with Rachel Maddow. Listen.
President Obama's campaign manager in 2008, David Plouffe, is with us. David, I know you have been talking to some muckety-mucks in Democratic politics, including what we gingerly call the donor class. What was your personal David Plouffe take on what you saw tonight, and what are you hearing from the people you've been speaking with?
Well, I think consistent with your reaction, Rachel, and others on the panel, it's kind of a DEFCON 1 moment.
DEFCON 1. Here is John King of CNN with more.
Anderson, this was a game-changing debate in the sense that right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket, and they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible.
Buckle up, Dave. This is going to be a rough next couple of months, because the Democratic convention is now weeks away. It's in August in Chicago, and the Biden campaign is already trying to set it up such that the actual nomination will be done virtually weeks before that. So he's locked in as the nominee. What they'll do to stop it, I know not, but I think they're finally convinced.
What an absolute farce all of these people are. They have been running cover for Joe Biden. They have been running cover for this administration. They have pretended that we didn't see what we've all seen, the flubs and confusions and muddling and making and who's in charge. Remember, that's his other thing, right? When he takes questions every now and again, he'll start saying something and he goes, oh, I'm not supposed to say that. I'll get in trouble. Like, there's been so many red flags here. So many alarms have been going off.
They actually were calling us ableist. They were calling us ableist, right? Keep going. Sorry.
No, well, I'm not going to curse on the Megyn Kelly show, but I would basically say F you to all of these people. They have now put us in this situation where we are a month away from a convention, as you just laid out, and they are about to swap him out. So everything that we've been dealing with for the last year, in essence, thinking that it was going to be Trump and Biden, they are done with Biden. And they just put us through all of this, on top of the fact that, I think we could probably deal with it if the world was in a bit of a better spot. But we have this insane Russia-Ukraine war, non-war that we're funding, but we're not in, something like that. The Israel-Hamas thing is actually secondary now to a much bigger war that could blow up with Hezbollah in Lebanon, and that could bring in several other countries. Obviously, we're having economic problems here. Just look at the interest rates or go to the supermarket. Like, there's serious stuff. If things were just kind of working, then I think we could put up with, having a guy that was a little confused and everything else, and we would just joke about it. But everything you said a moment before I came on about the way his mouth was, the staring off into complete blankness, the sentences that went nowhere. It's enough now. If you've been pretending not to see it, if you're watching this and you were just kind of on the fence, you have to see it now. This is serious stuff at this point.
Here is Van Jones of CNN.
That was painful. I love Joe Biden. I work for Joe Biden. He didn't do well at all. He did not do well at all. And he looked, I'll give you the analysis, you kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can. But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention. And there is time for this party to figure out a different way forward if he will allow us to do that. But that was not what we needed from Joe Biden, and it's personally painful for a lot of people. It's not just panic, it's pain for what we saw tonight.
And
One more, Dave. Listen to this. This just in from CBS News and Ed O'Keefe, the White House reporter.
There are at least some House Democrats who were gathered tonight watching this together, talking to the White House about having him step down. That's how bad it was in their view. Remember, House Democrats are on the verge of trying to get back the majority. They're nervous about doing that in places in these battleground states where they're going to need a strong top of the ticket. They may need to rely on a strong Senate or gubernatorial candidate, and in some cases they don't have it.
Step down before the convention?
Well, it would at least throw up somebody else instead of the president that debated tonight.
Dave, Biden's presidency, never mind his second term, is disintegrating before our very eyes.
Look, the truth is a time-release pill, and we are now seeing people who have laundered the lies and told us not to see what we see in front of us now being confronted with the obvious reality. They can all, you know, it's interesting. Van Jones, he's sort of emoting there, and he loves him and all of that stuff. But it's like, dude, you knew. You didn't just magically see something that came out of nowhere. We have all known this. So you have all been part of it. And now whatever, they've all been given the signal. Oh, someone else is talking about it. Now somebody else will talk about it. Somebody else will talk about it. And we will get rid of him. And by the way, if you're Joe Biden, for whatever's left of Joe Biden. And by the way, I had two grandmothers that I lost to dementia and Alzheimer's related issues that I spent a lot of time with one of them, particularly towards the end, dealing with that and going to doctors. So for all the glibness that we can make of this, it's deeply depressing. But Biden should not have to spend his last few years in this situation. This isn't the right ending of any man being propped up there, which is why your comments on Jill Biden are totally right. But look, as this ship sinks further, the rats are going to scurry. And there's the other part of this, of course, Megyn, is that there's a huge scandal here. They have been drugging him, obviously. People know what's going on. There is some doctor that knows what's going on. Does Karine Jean-Pierre know? I don't know, but I guarantee you Jill Biden knows, and probably the chief of staff knows, and a couple other people. But now that the signal's out there and there's blood around him, in essence, somebody's going to break, and then it'll be like, I was the one. A couple months ago, I was telling everybody we had to do something about this. So we have completely, I would say, traversed into new territory tonight, and it has almost nothing to do with any of the issues that will fix America, and that's the deeply depressing part.
There will be piece after piece after piece in the papers now of exactly those people you just mentioned. I tried to warn. White House sources say they've been trying to warn people for months. And you're right, they'll start turning on each other, because when you have Joy Reid and David Plouffe, right? She's the more woke squad dem, and David Plouffe is the more Obama sort of seasoned, whatever, distinguished. They're not exactly squaddy dem. And, the Van Joneses of the world all saying it's panic and he might actually need to step down. You have a genuine crisis on your hands. And the press will start printing those stories immediately, which will lead to just more feeding frenzy. And the only question is whether they can do it. Is there enough time? Oh, please. Oh, come on. Here's Jill Biden lying again.
Oh, Lord.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
Oh, my God.
It's like talking to a third grader.
She's talking to him like he's a baby. Yes, right. You have two babies right now. That's how you talk to them, is it not? You did all, got all the, can we listen to it again? We need to listen to it again.
I actually don't talk down to them.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
Oh my God, Dave.
Unbelievable. Megyn, I do want to be very clear. I don't talk down to my children. I talk to them like adults. They're only about 1.5, but Justin will look at me sometimes and he'll be like, dude, I'm a kid. What do you, come on. But that is just so embarrassing, and she is so in on it. If you want to be angry at somebody tonight, like, we can be angry at all of the media people, but everyone in America really should be angry at Jill Biden. It's elder abuse what she has done in her quest for power, or whatever deal she has made with Obama or anything else. I mean, my God, you answered every question. First, that's not even true. He rambled incoherently.
Here is a statement from the Biden campaign on tonight's debate. Tonight, President Biden presented a positive and winning vision for the future of America, one in which every American has a fair shot at the American dream, where every one of our rights are protected, and where our president fights to strengthen our democracy, not tear it down. On the other side of the stage was Donald Trump, dark, backwards window, terrible, terrible, terrible. Trump's performance tonight reminded the American people why they fired him 4 years ago and reinforced just how high the stakes are this November for the future of our country. Well, I agree with those last 4 words. You know, I mean, this is a pathetic attempt to spin like his positive vision. This isn't going to fly. For once, it doesn't seem like the media is going along, and they can't. They can't, because to your point earlier, they've been exposed. The jig is up. We've seen it. We've seen it repeatedly before tonight. The bullshit, not deep fakes. What is Karine Jean-Pierre? Cheap fakes excuse is not going to fly. It's a lie. They've been lying and spinning, and it's the country that's at stake. Shame on them all. Dave Rubin, my friend, so glad you could join us, and I'll give you the last word.
Well, I would just say, if you want absolute proof of what you just said right there, think about it. When they talked about the very fine people moment, which is a complete hoax, and Trump addressed it as a hoax, Biden still was pretending it was real. Jake Tapper, who many, many times on his show over the years has said it was true. If Biden had not completely broke down tonight, all of the people that we just showed from CNN and MSNBC and everywhere else, they would have still been laundering that lie. So it's not that they won't lie. It's that now it is so evident, it is so cataclysmically evident to everyone that they are going to have to either lie in a whole new way, or who knows what tricks they have up their sleeves. But I think the dam has broken, and we're in a very different situation starting right now.
Yeah. I think you mean Jake Tapper has admitted it's not true. He's on record as saying this is, at least I saw a clip of him saying it's much more nuanced than you're suggesting. But that lie about whether Trump called white supremacists in Charlottesville very good people has been debunked over and over. It was amazing Biden took that risk. It truly was as if he hadn't seen. Yeah, it was truly like he hadn't seen the fact checks, including one that just came out the other day, which I just tweeted out tonight if you want to check my Twitter feed. Dave, thank you. Great to see you.
Good to see you, my friend.